All right, the date is October 21st, 2025. All around the world, rivalries are heating up, and we're here to track the most important moves. Let's get right into our global intelligence briefing.
First up, we're heading to Europe. The war in Ukraine, well, it's shifting into a really dangerous new phase. We're not just talking about the front lines anymore. This is now a direct assault on the very machinery that keeps both countries running.
And this really lays out that brutal back and forth, doesn't it? You've got Russia just ramping up its campaign, hitting civilian areas, going after the energy grid, targeting transport hubs. The goal? It's pretty clear. They're trying to cripple Ukraine's ability to even function. But look at the other side. Ukraine and its allies, they are not backing down. They're rushing in advanced air defenses, like the Patriot systems. Diplomatically, they're slamming the door on any talk of some Donbass deal, and the EU is pushing for sanctions that are even tighter. It's just this vicious cycle of escalation, and honestly, there's no clear end in sight.
All right, let's shift gears and head to our next flashpoint, the Middle East. Talk about a tinderbox. You have multiple fuses burning dangerously short. The whole region feels like it's balanced on a knife's edge.
And if you want to understand just how high the tension is, you really don't have to look any further than this. A pretty stark warning from President Trump about that fragile truce in Gaza. After the recent skirmishes, a statement like this, it's not just diplomatic talk. No way. It's a direct threat that's just hanging over the entire situation. It's basically a signal that large-scale military operations could kick off again at any moment.
But here's the thing. Gaza is just one piece of a much, much larger puzzle here. It's all connected. We're looking at three major flashpoints flaring up all at once. You've got the shaky ceasefire in Gaza, you have Iran getting cozier with China on the nuclear front, and then there's this really dramatic strategic shift going down in Syria.
And this gets us to this idea of strategic geography. Think about it. For years, Iran used Syria as a forward base, right? A way to project its power across the region. But now, thanks to persistent Israeli actions, that huge asset is actually turning into a massive liability. It just shows you the tough spot Iran is in. So, with their whole Syria strategy crumbling, are they backing down? Nope. Tehran has flat out rejected new talks with the U.S. and is instead doubling down on its alliance with Beijing, both on the nuclear file and economically.
Okay, from the Middle East, let's pivot over to Asia, where tensions that have been simmering for a long time are now boiling over. We're seeing new provocations and even open cross-border fighting.
And then this happened. A new ICBM launch. North Korea just tested a new intercontinental ballistic missile. This is a direct, defiant message to the U.S. and its allies in the region. Any hopes for some kind of diplomatic breakthrough? Yeah, they're pretty much shattered.
But that provocation from North Korea, it's only one part of the story of Asia's growing instability. If you look further south, a totally different kind of conflict is heating up. The Taliban has launched attacks across the border into Pakistan. This is a huge deal. It's not just straining relations between the two countries, it's threatening to light a match in an already incredibly volatile border region.
And of course, so many of these regional conflicts, when you trace them back, they connect to the central rivalry of our time. I'm talking about the massive competition between the United States and China.
Get a load of this number, $1 trillion. That is the staggering amount Australia is pledging to invest in U.S. critical minerals by 2035. And let's be crystal clear, this is not just some trade deal. This is a massive economic shot across the bow at Beijing. It's a very clear move to build out a supply chain for critical materials that completely, totally bypasses China.
This table really does a great job of breaking down how this rivalry is being fought on so many different fronts. I mean, look at the military side. The U.S. is speeding up the delivery of nuclear subs to Australia under that AUKUS pact. Then economically, you've got that huge minerals deal we just talked about, plus President Trump is threatening 100% tariffs. And then there's the diplomatic front. Both sides are maneuvering, getting ready for a potential summit between Trump and Xi, where everything, trade, tech, Taiwan, is going to be on the table.
All right, for our last story today, we're heading down to Latin America. A really stunning election result there could fundamentally redraw the region's political map and its relationship with the United States.
So get this, after 2 straight decades of socialist rule, Bolivia has just elected a centrist Rodrigo Paz. This is a huge deal, a seismic shift really. It doesn't just end a political era inside Bolivia, it signals a potential pivot away from that leftist bloc in the region and maybe, just maybe, toward renewed ties with the U.S. And a move like that could have ripple effects across the entire continent.
So what's the big picture here? What's the one thing to take away from all this? It's this. From the battlefields in Ukraine to the waters of the Taiwan Strait, From the tinderbox of the Middle East to the political shifts in South America, we are absolutely living in a world of intensifying rivalries.
You know, everywhere you look, alliances are shifting, economies are being turned into weapons, and old simmering conflicts are flaring up in new and really dangerous ways. And all of that leaves us with one final critical question to think about as we watch all these events unfold. In a world this volatile, is diplomacy actually strong enough to pull us back from the brink?